My name is Ashley, and this is An Album a Day, an English language podcast promoting commentary on South Korean pop music. This podcast covers mainstream, indie, and some underground artists within the scene and provides both factual and opinionated K-pop commentary. The biggest benefit to sharing my thoughts this way is that it will hopefully expose you to more great music and exploration of your own.
Hey y'all, yes, finally you get to hear this on a streaming platform, not just some brouhaha that I've posted somewhere, But I wanted to let you know what I've been doing since the last episode that uploaded to actual streaming platforms, one of which is not Spotify. I'll talk about that real quick, real brief, but we'll get into all of that right after the drop.
You're tuned into An Album a Day. Show, start.
Well, it's been some time. It's been a lot of time. Okay, in the time since the last episode, I have left the podcast network that I was with. No disrespect to them, nothing harmful. It wasn't a bad experience. I just wasn't a proper fit. And I feel like I addressed that once before in something else, possibly a 3 Day Sister show. But I went back to South Korea to do the Wine and Spirits Expo again. Phenomenal experience, per usual. And we were able to squeeze in just a little bit of time in 2 other countries too. I'm backlogged on so much stuff on Patreon. Shout out to the patrons for being so damn patient. But on Patreon, both free and the paid membership, and there's only 2 options. It's absolutely free or it's $5 a month. They will differentiate in terms of what's accessible, but I'm still backlogged on stuff that needs to be posted, both there and on Substack from those adventures this summer. Did some interviews of members of Black Swan. I did an interview of all of STAYC, all of which were opportunities brought to me by K-Crush magazine, which leads me into what this episode is about. But before we get there, you heard me mention that I said I'm not on Spotify anymore. What's up with that? Spotify is owned by a man who invests all his money in war materials, and he doesn't necessarily set up a way for that to trickle down to the variety of artists who are on that platform. As an independent producer, I would love to be able to have the decade of music I've been making actually create a better revenue stream for me, but it does not. So currently Miss Blink Beats, or Miss Blink, is still on Spotify, but just for a little bit longer. It takes longer for me to bring back my catalog. Some of the music that I've uploaded on there were done on devices and hard drives that have been compromised at this point in time. So I just want to be able to get my stuff. And then it's still on YouTube. You can still listen to all of my music on YouTube for free. But everywhere else where it's available for streaming is where it will be. And of course on Bandcamp if you want to purchase something. But for this, I've been putting podcast episodes that would have been on Spotify right onto the Patreons. Let's just get on that shit, okay? Let's get into what we need to talk about. I've attended 2 concerts in recent months. One was for ONEUS, and it was at the Houston House of Blues, and it was mid. I'm not gonna hold you up. Seeing them when I did in Las Vegas maybe 2 years before, or 2.5 years before, how dynamic they were, how much they brought the heat for 2 back-to-back evenings of performance. And then for this, they just didn't have it. I don't know if it was a matter of the venue being smaller, as one person I know speculated, or if it's the fact that one member is in the military, so they don't have perhaps the genuine vitamin of the group, but it was honestly missable. What was cool about it was the fact that the majority of the people in attendance were much older. They were in their mid to late 20s and up. And that felt very welcoming. You didn't feel that you were out of place in any way, or for those who that matters to, you would have blended in well. I was watching the concert and enjoying some of the performances when a text message came through my phone to check my emails, and I checked my email and opened it up, and it was one saying that I was in the running for possibly doing press for G-Dragon's concert that was happening in Vegas. Lost my shit. After that, the ONEUS concert did not matter. The musicality has always been there for them, and I hate to just kind of brush over this, but this is not the crux of this entire thing. The musicality has always been there for them, but if stuff is going on that's so evident where it compromises your performance caliber, I think it's more respectful to the artists and to those who attend to just simply cancel. I had a comparative understanding of what they could bring to the stage versus what took them well into an hour into the show to be able to do. And venue space should not matter. I have seen Bang Young-gook at that same venue, who was on stage with a DJ and just him and his microphone, and rocked the shit out of that. I've seen BTS when they were doing the Red Bullet tour all those years ago, cram that space in and rocked it as if it was the stadiums that they do now. So I don't necessarily want to accept that it was a venue specific thing that impacted them. You perform like your check depend on it regardless. And if you cannot bring that, we as the consumers need to respect that some space needs to be made. Disappointments are going to happen regardless, but would you rather people be disappointed that the concert didn't happen because you weren't in the right space to deliver, or that they paid all that money and that shit was boring? Which one? So my hope is that they're able to deliver on something more impactful for their next opportunity. If this was my first time having seen them, I probably wouldn't even bother to see them again, honest to goodness. So we'll see what is down the pipeline. There's some other concerts that I'm either covering as press or just going as a fan, and I'll keep y'all posted on that. Back to this G-Dragon though. I have a long history. Well, first off, Big Bang was my gateway into K content. TOP is widely known as my ultimate bias, but I have such a deep admiration and respect for G-Dragon that I try not to miss him anytime he comes here. So I have seen him before, both in the United States and in South Korea, and this was different because it was a press opportunity after so many years of him being gone. There's no damn way I would have ever thought this was going to happen. Like, not at all. Not ever. You know? So I get more elaborative about it in the Patreon exclusive. So again, get on Patreon, get on there, become a patron. But what I want to talk about, based on what he delivered and what my expectations are moving forward, is the concert experience has to deliver something so phenomenally different for people to justify the expenditure that you cannot afford to be subpar. Concerts are supposed to bring your discography to life. They're supposed to bring your records, your albums, your CDs, your MP3s, your streamed music, your YouTube, if that's the only way that you can access everything, front of your face, live and unforgettable. And with Ticketmaster exploiting ticket costs as aggressively as they do, to know that you are paying something that is a bona fide bill for most of the people who are attending. This is a serious want that you may have had to save up aggressively for and push some needs to the side to accommodate. Don't screw over people's money. G-Dragon gave us a 4-set experience where you can read the article about the experience on K-Crush, their website. I'll make sure to provide the link to that article so that you can really get more in depth with what my thoughts were about that. But what I didn't do in that article was talk a lot about the efforts of the production and the efforts of the band. Putting a tour together, especially one that is multi-continental, multi-country, the planning, the staging, the execution of that has to be so concise. It has to make up for the money. So now that we have all the money spent by the consumers, so we have all of these concerts that are coming. Twice has hit 10 years in the game, which I'm grinning just saying that, but they've hit 10 years in the game, and they're doing a world tour, and this is not their first time, but the production is going to have to surpass anything they've done before. You can't expect people to come and just see what they've seen you do on Inkigayo or Music Bank and whatnot. So G-Dragon had a live band, and that's nothing new for experiencing him. But the live band and the large-scale video production that goes along with it and whatnot, he brought the South Korean concert experience to the United States and other countries, and then amplified it even more. So I know that KARD is getting ready to do a tour, or it may have been canceled. I'm not going to get into the tea on that. There's a few other things that are floating around, and I just want it to be known to those who put these tours on that You have to be able to deliver very strongly, very solidly on something that makes sense for people to spend that much money on. You just have to. And if it's a half-ass experience, we're going to run to the internet and we're going to be loud netizens about it. Never spend your money on something and not expect a spectacular experience. I'm talking about going to a restaurant to dine, going to a high-end boutique where if you're shopping there, there's specific things that they do to make it more extravagant for you. Going to a concert, even if you are in the nosebleeds, your seat shouldn't be sticky. It shouldn't be gum on the floor, goop. It should feel like a memory that was worth that money that in this economy, this global economy, shouldn't be played with. I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had to see concerts in every capacity, from nosebleeds to backstage and in the rafters and everything in between. That's not something I take for granted as a person who loves music so very much. But I am extremely budget conscientious and my money is in development for something much larger than my current state of living. So I don't want to play about that. And I don't want to recommend or encourage my listeners to go to something where you don't know if it's going to be a worthwhile experience. You might not want to spoil the concert for yourself, and I get that, but you do need to look at live videos from other people who put them online. That's a thermometer for you to know if this is worth your money or not. I didn't look at anything from One Us's tour. I based off of the expectations of what I had already known, only to be disappointed. And then with G-Dragon, every single clip is cleanly curated by his team. But I knew what I was expecting, so I was expecting it to even elevate beyond that, and did. So take those things as a money spending precaution. Yes, I know this episode might not be like, well, you left off on A-Pink and never finished. I know I ain't never finished that shit. I'm getting to it. I promise. But I'm an old head in this. And there's certain things I want to call out and point out as we get along. I have already alluded to the fact that episodes might not be the way that they used to be. And we're just going to navigate that. We're going to keep figuring things out. So rock with me. Keep your money close. Buy the light stick. Sit at home and have fun. Unless you absolutely know it's worth your dollar. ATs, worth your dollar. Stray Kids, worth your dollar. Twice, worth all your damn dollars. G-Dragon, worth your back molar if it had money involved. Like, it's worth it. It's worth it, okay? That don't mean I'm hating on your faves. It just means look at the team around them when they when they planning your stuff. That's a turmeric and ginger tea, and it is thebomb.com. I love you, listeners. I'm excited to be back. I know it takes me a while here and there, but you see, for those who are actually watching this episode being recorded, you see I'm in a proper space now. Like, it's right. We're getting there slowly but surely. Now I have so much more to talk about. Also, don't forget to check out my Substack, y'all. I did a review of Jackson Wang's recent album. The one for Haechan is coming up. Utah is about to drop. So NCT is feeding me right now. But stuff is happening. I am not out of the game. I hate that I have to constantly remind, but people constantly ask. I'm still out here doing my thing. I promise. All right. Bye, y'all.